Previously on Bleeding Metal.
Today, we are going to have a recap and summarize all of our experiences during Tuska Festival in Helsinki and making the Tuska Forum by Bleeding Metal.
The second day at Tuska was a very Finnish day for me because I got to see some of my Finnish favorites. Of course, one of my favorite bands forever is Stamina, and I got to see them live again. It was a record audience for them because they got almost 23,000 people, and they posted later that was a record for them. They have played Tuska a million times, but I guess they are requested. People want to see them again and again. So everyone was singing along to every song. Yeah. It was really cool.
Yeah, I think some of the staples of Tuska are Stamina, Mokoma, Turbenkätilöt now, and Lost Society now as well.
For sure. I think those bands actually capture the Finnish metal vibe very well in different styles. They're doing a great job. Even if they are being called again and again, I think the crowd is still not tired of them. I also saw Kaunis Kuolematon. I was very happy to see them. It's really good. There's one that I wanted to see. I saw Stamina, of course, and I got to go to the Kvlt Stage on Saturday, finally, after standing in line to the Kvlt Stage on Friday and missing concerts and never got in. It was so packed on the Friday. Oh, wow. And I just wasted time in line to nothing because I didn't get to see anything. But I saw I Am Your God. It's also a small Finnish band because that's the vibe for the Kvlt Stage, that they have the less known bands. Also, they have a program for newer bands. So it's cool to see new upcoming bands. The singer for I Am Your God had a broken foot, which kind of add a little more drama to their performance. But they had a lot of energy, and it was very cool to see the small venue still having a tiny mosh. The center of it was really cool. And one of my number one favorites, highlights for Tuska, was this tiny band that I saw on the Tuska Kvlt Stage. It's a small band from Finland called Arctica. They put on an insane show, and insane is the best word to describe them, because not only they have the music performance, but they have a drama, a theater performance as well. Before the show even started, they were having sound check, but they had this woman dressed as a doctor on stage doing sound check as well, but checking the instruments and taking notes on a notepad. And I was like, no, that's not sound check. That's a performance. That's something going on right there. What is this? The Tuska host came in and he said, just so you know, the doors are closed. You're all locked inside. Your identity has been stripped off. You're nobodies now, and you can't leave. You're locked inside. And you are all now patients on the mental asylum of Arctica. So this doctor woman grabbed the guys, and she was like this mad doctor making her patients perform. And the guys were wearing mad patient clothes, I don't know, and masks. So she was making them perform. She would place one in the drums, one in front of the microphone, give them guitars, and then she would remove her doctor's clothes and reveal that she was also a crazy person. And then they started performing, and they had this actor on stage for the whole performance, dancing like a crazy person, acting as if she was making the guys play, yelling at them, pretending to hit them. It was a lot of fun. They were my number one band that I had never heard before, and I loved it.
Oh, wow. I'm really sad. I haven't been to the Kvlt Stage once. I missed that.
I missed two other bands that I wanted to check on the Kvlt Stage because it was too crowded. It speaks to how cool the whole festival is, that even this tiny stage with bands that maybe you'd never heard of before is still very crowded, and people want to see them. I also got to see Sonata Arctica for the 100th time. I think I had this feeling that you described, Martha, with Pendulum, that you have the songs in your head already. I was like, yeah, Tony can take a day off and I can sing all the lyrics by heart. But it was still cool seeing them. There is one important thing about their concert that myself and some other Brazilian journalists that were attending the festival mentioned that we were resenting bands that were from Finland and kept on only talking in Finnish to the crowd. We were like, come on, us foreigners, we don't know what you're saying. Speak in English, please. And it was a joke. Maybe you're a Finnish band that sing in Finnish and you're in Finland, so maybe you don't even remember that maybe people from other countries are there as well. So I was taking attendance of every Finnish band that would speak in English because I felt seen. I walked in the Sonata crowd just in time when Tony was addressing people that don't speak Finnish. And he said something very cool. He was just asking, how many people here don't speak Finnish? Thank you for coming here to Finland to see us. Thank you for being here. And then he said, oh, but maybe you live here, but you haven't learned Finnish yet. He remembered immigrants. I think it was the first time that I heard that ever.
We were having dinner, Martha and I, while they were playing.
Yeah, that was the first food I had that day. I was bad with eating. So what did you see next, Susanna?
My highlight was seeing Stamina. And then at the end of the day, I went to the TUSKA FORÜM to watch their interview, although I didn't understand anything. And then I was ready for Bring Me the Horizon, which again, I was not very interested in the headlines any of the days. But I think they had a lot of energy. The production was beautiful. I think it was one of the best stage productions that I have ever seen, because there seemed to be like a story going on stage with characters and dialogues between songs. And Ollie puts on a really amazing show. He's a great singer and a great frontman. So yeah, all around a very cool show from Bring Me the Horizon.
I don't know. I have a hot take about that.
Sure. Before we go to Bring Me the Horizon, I also want to mention the Make Them Suffer show again, because that was like one of the few bands I managed to see that day. They put on such a killer show. They destroyed this stage. They had so much energy and it was so energizing to watch them.
Because it's contagious, right?
Yeah, contagious. That's the perfect word. I really enjoyed that. And they were really nice people when we met them backstage.
Anchor and Make Them Suffer were contagious with their energy. And then they also get that energy back from the audience and they can keep going from that. What did you think about Bring Me the Horizon, Martha?
Absolutely amazing production. I haven't followed their music for some time now. First of all, they put on like corpse paint. I think it was the whole situation like, oh my God, guys, we're in Finland. Let's put on corpse paint. That's what they do here. That's where this kind of metal comes from. And the funny thing was when we put on black lipstick to perform, we have this like super sticky water repellent lipstick, which is really a pain to get off in the end, but it sticks very well. And you can like almost eat your microphone, but the lipstick stays. And Oliver Sykes' lipstick at mid-show was gone. Poor person who has to like peel all this black color out of that microphone again. I feel you. I have been there. But yeah, I enjoyed the show. I think that was one of the best productions. I really enjoyed it.
Good. I also enjoyed it. Cool concert. It was not mind-blowing. For context, in their defense, I did not have an emo phase. I
had that emo phase
right away. I was not a fan of Bring Me the Horizon until like maybe 2 years ago. They really got me with their collab with Emily and that album. And then I saw them last year at Rock am Ring. And there I already saw this amazing production that they put with the 3-level screens in the background, stairs on stage, all of the stops. I thought it was great. I thought that concert last year was better. This year at Tuska, yes, they had still an amazing production. The effort with the corpse paint, Ollie's monologues on stage were super nice. He was really grateful to be there, that so many people were there. As an entertainer, he's great. He they did the whole thing of going down to the barricade and hugging all the people in the first row, even singing with them. They also had this thing of supposedly getting a kid whom they didn't know and bring them on stage and make them sing a whole song. I personally think that was rehearsed and planned, but whatever. You do you. I did not like him spitting on the stage floor all the time. It disgusts me. I notice that. I see footballers spitting on the field. I'm still disgusted. Please don't do that.
Maybe it was the lipstick. Maybe the lipstick was the problem.
No. There was this, I think guitarist, might be the bass player, but I think guitarist singing backing vocals. And I thought he might be a better singer than Ollie. Big hot take. The guitarist doing the backing vocals sang better than Ollie on that specific night.
Ollie didn't start as a clean singer.
But even as a harsh vocalist, I don't think he's one of the great ones.
Not at all. I think their strength lie in lyrics and transporting the contents. But yeah, technically, I absolutely agree with you. But I had the feeling that his clean vocals were a lot better than live videos I have seen of them. So I think he worked on that throughout his career. There are other bands who don't do that at all. So I appreciate that he's working on that and he really caught up on technique and everything.
Sure. Other than that, they did play the hits that I also knew. So I also did scream and jump and sing. I did enjoy it. But it was not a mind-blowing headliner for me. And that ended the Saturday. The Sunday felt a little shorter. And for me, it started with Beyond the Black. Also, you were talking about the Kvlt Stage on Sunday. I was able to sneak a peek into the Kvlt Stage. It was between bands, so I didn't see anyone play the Kvlt Stage.
That's why you got in, because it was between bands.
Yeah, that's why I had a really easy and fast way into the Kvlt Stage.
I wanted to see Shireen.
I also wanted to see Shireen. I couldn't, but I checked out the stage right after they played. So for me, the Sunday started with Beyond the Black.
Yeah, me too. I was so relaxed. I was so happy. It always feels like that the last day. The last day is always like bittersweet. I'm always so happy that it happened, but it's always my last day. I don't know when I will ever be able to be here again. So I knew that I was going to cry at some point. So happy to be here. It was a very nice show. It was very cool that she started the show all by herself, playing drum and singing. I thought that was very powerful, and she looked amazing and she was singing amazing. So that was a good start of the day.
The weather was also nice, not too sunny, a bit of refreshing wind, and to have Beyond the Black playing in the background was nice. I didn't think they made too much of a connection with the audience. They just stood there and played, which is meh for me. From a quality, objective standpoint, they are great musicians.
I understood the whole drumming intro, but the dude with the floor tom had to bring it there, put the microphone stand there, and then she had a few dang-dang-dangs, and then she went away and they started their set, and the guy came back, took the drum, put it back. That was a lot of work for like very little dramatic effect. I don't know. I didn't like it, but yeah, I also do not enjoy their music so much. It's good music, but it's absolutely not my cup of tea. So I preferred the talk with Jennifer Haben a lot to their show, actually.
Yeah, I was very curious to hear her interview. When I was watching their performance, I had this in mind that I want to see them answering questions and talking about their performance and their music and the business behind what they do. I remember that Kiki likes talking about their outfit because Jennifer looked really pretty on stage.
Oh, she has great outfits. Yeah.
Yeah. After Tuska, she posted about her new outfits, and I was like, oh, that's so much better. They look amazing. So I guess Tuska was one of her last performance with the old outfit, and the new ones look really great. After Beyond the Black, I went to see Warmen, and they were one of my favorites for the whole festival. I was very happy that I got to see them. It was really packed. They are also a Finnish band that spoke in English sometimes to the audience, which was great. At some point, they asked very politely if people wouldn't mind if they played a little bit of Children of Bodom, which of course made the crowd explode. I was outside the venue and I saw people running to see it. The crowd went super crazy. And then, of course, they talked about Alexei Laiho. People at the audience got emotional as they did on stage, talking about Laiho. And they played 2 or 3 songs from Children of Bodom. But I also have to say that they were very good on their own merits. Their album is really good, Here for None. So their songs were also really cool. It reminds me of Autumn a little bit, but they're good on their own. So for me, it was one of the highlights, one of the most energetic.
Nice. I think that was one of the days we could finally have food early. We went to have an early lunch.
I had a lot of food. It was really delicious. That was like the best group catering I've ever had. There was also always a vegan option. Absolutely loved the food. In general, like food in Finland was really nice.
And on Sunday there were pancakes. That was amazing. Last year we had ice cream at some point. I think Sunday as well. So on the last day, they always have something special for the crew, and that is so sweet.
Nice. I was not having the special crew treatment, but even outside, I was having good food as well.
And that day in the forum, we started with Jennifer from Beyond the Black. We had only short sessions that day, only 30 minutes each. We started talking about leadership in metal with Jennifer. And for full transparency, she was the only one who asked for the questions in advance. And so I obviously sent her the questions in advance. And I lost interest in the conversation very quickly, if I'm honest. And I was the one having the conversation. And it was because I felt like she had prepared all the questions. And she was just repeating the things that she had prepared to say. That kind of situations, it can get really boring. And I think she actually realized that. So I'm very sorry about that. It was not my best. I wanted to have something important. I wanted her to say whether it is still difficult for women in the music industry. I was just listening to an interview, for example, with Ash Costello from New Year's Day on another podcast. Shout out to the She's With the Band podcast. And super honestly and super openly, she was saying, people call me difficult all the time. And then the interviewer asked her, do you think if you were a man, you would be called difficult as well? And she was like, probably not. Because that happens a lot more to women when you know what you want, when you stand up for yourself. And that's what I wanted to get from Jennifer. Every other member of the band changed when they started to become more professional. She is the leader of the band. This band is hers. She has done a lot of work. She has had every job around it. She's been a crew member. She got her degree in musicology because she wants to know the industry and she wants to do a really great job. And she is doing a really great job and she's reaping the fruits of her labor. She's been working in the industry since she was a kid. And that's what I wanted to hear. I didn't want to hear the rehearsed answer of, no, it's fine. I do what I want, which we also heard from other bands as well. The whole, how do you manage being authentic when at the same time you want to have your music heard? And so you have to play by the rules of social media sometimes. No, we do what we want. We're authentic. We do what we want. And that was a bit frustrating, especially in that conversation. The cool thing was when I asked her if she especially looks for women in the industry to collaborate with, to support each other. She said yes, and she pointed to her tour manager, who is a woman. That was super refreshing. We've had conversations in recent episodes of the podcast of people saying, yes, there are enough women in the industry, and yes, we will look for women to work with. And then, well, where? Apparently there are. Jennifer Haben is working with women in the industry. So that was a really cool thing from the talk. We didn't have that much time. We had some questions from the audience as well. And we had to send her right back to her day so that we could welcome Barry tomorrow. And that was the highlight of the forum for me. I was so nervous. I was so starstruck. And I was so happy and grateful that I got to meet them, that I got to talk to them. I'm still super moved. When Marta brought them to the backstage of our little venue, I ran in there and I was in a panic because I was super anxious that my research was wrong. And I wanted to talk to them about work-life balance, balancing their day jobs with their band career, with touring so much and with everything. And I knew that Dan works in healthcare in the UK and that he has a whole lot of responsibility in there. And then I thought maybe this is outdated. The imposter syndrome was strong in me at that moment. And so I ran into the backstage and we had Dan and Kristen and I was like, just to check, you still have day jobs, right? And they were like, yeah. Oh, but funny thing, good thing that you have us both because one of our bandmates just quit their job. So my witchy senses were right in some level, but good thing everything turned fine. we proceeded to have this amazing conversation about their jobs, about how they take care of themselves as well. And yeah, Dan works in healthcare and Kristen has a non-alcoholic brewery. That is a little more chill job because it is his thing, if I understood correctly. It was so cool to talk to them, like super chill, super open. And after the talk, they stayed for a long while and took the time to take all of the pictures with fans. There was one fan crying in Dan's arms. Super touching to see how nice they were to their fans as well. I really enjoy and support all they do. The things Dan says on stage, supporting not only mental health struggles and people seeking help, but also diversity and just us getting along with each other and respecting each other in their music and in their presence as a band.
While you were still in the Beyond the Black interview, I was picking up the guys from Bury Tomorrow, and they were so easy and nice to talk to. We were waiting in that little backstage room and they were just normal people, super nice, interested in other people, not just talking about their stuff all the time. Of all the people we interviewed, they get the most points for being the most awesome human beings.
Yes, and we will talk about their show in just a little bit because we had one last session and it was a return guest. It was our very first guest to come back to the TUSKA FORÜM by Bleeding Metal, Sami Albana, who last year talked about mental health and how the album that they had just put out last year saved his life. And this year, we wanted to talk to him about authenticity, what I was just mentioning, and about how he is now a year later and how much things are better. And that was really heartwarming too, to almost catch up with an old friend because Sami is also super down to earth and nice, and talked to us during the forum session about how important it is for him to be open and honest through his music with the fans, with the media as well, and how he has gotten to know himself better through the difficult times and how that makes him stronger today. That was really lovely too.
He does a very good job at breaking the heavy metal stereotype of the heavy, not heavy enough, and what you wear on stage and off stage. He was one of my highlights last year. He was wearing a very male rock and roll kind of thing. And at the same time, he was opening up about mental problems, which for me was really cool, that even if you are this cool rock and roll dude, you can also be very open and sensitive about emotional stuff. And then I was very happy to see him return. Maybe we're going to have him every year now.
I asked him when I brought him back if he's coming back.
Nice. What did he say?
He said, of course, when we're there, he will come.
He feels like this kind of open guy that you can talk to about anything. It was very cool to have him return. He has been probably through a lot. One of my favorite songs from their early works is a song about being hangover. It's very silly, but super fun. And now he's this more modern metal kind of thing. And he does what he does on stage. And he has this whole fashion thing going on now. Last year, he went on the stage wearing this big, white, fake fur coat that doesn't even make any sense in the summer. But I think he wanted to really walking like a diva and then take it off. I think he really wanted to provoke and poke fun of the people that call him a diva. So I was happy to see our friend be happy and relaxed.
Yes, it was a very cool and chill conversation again. And we're very happy and grateful always to Sami for being so open and honest. And that was the closing session for TUSKA FORÜM by Bleeding Metal 2024. That was a lot of fun. It was intense. It was a lot. We had 10 sessions. That was twice as many as last year. And because those 3 sessions were almost back to back, we didn't have a lot of time to watch bands. But afterwards, we did go see Bury Tomorrow and Parkway Drive. And that was the perfect ending of the festival for me. Bury Tomorrow I had seen with Make Them Suffer the week before at a concert in Germany. And I was happy with the small changes to the set list that they did. because that put my favorite songs in the end together. I had so much fun. Also, Sunday is Tuska Family Day. So kids are allowed. And I saw also older people, elderly age people. We went to the very front of Bury Tomorrow, and there was a super sweet grandma there with her walking aid, like a rolly thing, sitting there. And people were partying around her. And it was incredible. And I loved it. It was so cool. And as I said, Dan is always talking to the audience about how we should respect each other and make friends. And there's this point where they always are like, okay, so look to your left and right and ask if you can put your hand on the other person's shoulders so that we can all jump together. And if you don't know them, then make friends. And I was like, yeah, this is Finland. I don't know if that's going to work out. yeah, we metalheads are friendly, blah, blah, blah. But still, I was very happy that I was there with my friend. We were just so hyped to see them, and we're singing along and jumping along, just generally enjoying this amazing concert. Did you see Bury Tomorrow on stage?
I did, but before that, for the first time in my life, I managed to see Opeth between our forum talks. I went to see like 10 minutes of Opeth, and then I came back and I tried to see the rest of the set. Mikael was making really fun dead jokes about what genre they are, and it was really funny. Great show. Opeth is such amazing musicians. They don't need to do much on stage to be this good. And then while we were waiting for Bury Tomorrow, there was a bird, like a gull. It was sitting on the light on the stage. And then they started and they came out, and the bird was flying through the tent. Half their show, I was watching this bird. Somebody, please save this bird. To this day, I don't know what happened to the bird.
Oh, no.
But oh my God, that was like the most emotional thing. Oh God, it was a whole situation. And there were a few people around me and they were suffering with me. So please, Tuska staff, someone tell me if that bird is okay.
This is going to be the cliffhanger for our episode. We don't know. So sad. I did see Opeth as well. I agree with you. They make it look very easy. They don't try hard. They sound great every time. And the guys were in line with me at the airport the next day. It's funny because there are so many things going on at the same time that sometimes it feels like we're at different festivals. I did not see Bury Tomorrow, unfortunately. I have to check them out some other time. I did see a little bit of Stratovarius, but I was at the Brothers of Metal concert, and it was so much more fun than I thought it was going to be. It happened before at other Tuskas that I have been to, that there is always this folk metal band at the end that makes everything super crazy. A lot of people had inflatable swords and they were making duels in the middle of the stage. And people were faking dying and falling on the stage. It was a whole thing. They were rowing as well, a little bit of rowing, knighting ceremonies, everything that you can think of was happening at the middle of the stage and the crowd. So the band was great. But shout out to the Tuska crowd, top notch. The singer, Ilva, especially, was doing an amazing job. She's an amazing singer and a great front woman. So even with all the craziness, she was also very professional and sounding really good. So yeah, that was my closing for Tuska, one of the best. I wasn't expecting to have so much fun, but it was one of the best for me, for sure.
I find it very irritating that their name is Brothers of Metal, even though they have a woman in there.
Yeah, it should be siblings of metal or family of metal, because I don't know if the other guy is also related. But it should be siblings of metal because it's a brother and a sister. For me, it was the closing of Tuska was Brothers of Metal, and I wasn't even paying too much attention to Parkway Drive. How was Parkway Drive for you, too?
I had a super shitty time. My hot take on Parkway Drive is that they have two good albums, and they are Horizons and Deep Blue. After that, I did not enjoy the Parkway Drive music at all. And that is mainly because it feels very empty. They have a few songs which do have a message, but the rest is just like words attached that seem to make sense. 100 years ago, when I saw Parkway Drive at Mainstream Festival in Münster, Germany, at least their one guitarist, the one with the blonde curls, he used to smile, and I think he didn't smile once. It was like, okay, this is my day job and I'm going here and I'm playing this show and then I'm going back. What makes music important for me is emotions, and I did not get any. Also, the production was super basic. We're going to have a few explosions of fire and it's going to be very loud and it's going to make a lot boom and be impressive because it's fire. And we're going to have a little light. And I don't know. Also, like Winston's outfit irritated me vastly. I don't know. He had a really weird situation going on with his pants. I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but it was very irritating. And to see this crowd go nuts to this thing that didn't have a deeper meaning to me. I don't know. I'm exaggerating here, but I don't know. People not questioning what's going. That's a tiny root of evil in this world for me. I didn't have a good time, but because I know my friend Jasmine and you all were having a good time. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to wait here until this show is over. And then I'm going to remind myself not to go to a Parkway Drive show in the future. That was unfortunately not the best terms to end this festival, but everything else at this festival was really great. Yeah. I don't mind having had that experience, but I'm just clearer about that.
For me, it was, again, the opposite. I had never been a huge Parkway Drive fan, but the first time I saw them was also at Tuska. Back in 2018, Pia and I went there, and the main stage stood on the complete opposite side of the festival grounds than it was this time. And so they had the sun in their faces. And they still had a lot of fire in their show. Back then, I do remember that I was so mind blown, and I will tell this story forever. The drummer was sitting in this weird apparatus that turned around so that at some point he played hanging on his head. Everybody must have made that joke, and I also made it. He has to play like that. You know, Australia is on the other side of the world, so that it will make sense to him. He has to play upside down. Okay, terrible joke. Anyway, it was super impressive, and I was so looking forward to seeing them again. I've seen them live once, elsewhere, twice. I'm not sure anymore, but I have seen them at an arena concert 2 years ago, and they also rock that. And I know Winston, as a vocalist, is also not one of the greats, but he's really good. I do have favorite songs from them. They do have crowd pleasers, the ones you can sing along to and jump along to, and they played those, of course. And the moment where Winston went into the crowd, I really thought he was standing on someone's shoulder and he was in the middle of the mosh pit. That was really impressive. Yeah, pretty classical stage production, nothing too fancy, that is true. They did have a little more when they were here at the arena tour, so maybe they go a little more back to the basics when it's festivals. They did have the string quartet with them, which is an all-female string quartet that they bring along for the few songs that they have with those arrangements. That always is big plus points for me. I really enjoyed the show, and it was the end of the festival. I was done with work. I allowed myself a few drinks, and I was having so much fun. Parkway Drive are headlining a lot of festivals right now, and I think they're doing a great job of that, and that they deserve the credit because they are the new generation of festival headliners. I still hear, and I will name names this time because I've had it. I am a loyal listener of the Metal Socks podcast, and I just can't hear them say it again, that who is going to headline the big metal festivals if Iron Maiden stop playing? Who is gonna do it? And I'm like, Trivium, Parkway Drive, Bring Me the Horizon. We have so many incredible bands playing arenas. We have Sleep Token that just rocketed to fame and is playing arena tours. We have Ghost headlining Tuska last year. There are so many amazing acts, and the next generations and the new generations will bring more. So there is no reason to be panicking about the future of metal festivals headliners because the people are getting older. What are we gonna do when Motley Crue retires? Who the fuck cares about Motley Crue anymore? It makes my blood boil. He keeps saying that.
I think Tuska has been doing a very good job at bringing those new headline bands to the festival. I don't think they are caught up in the past and being like, we have to bring the old dudes over and over. I think they're doing a good job at bringing the new people even if it's not what everybody loves.
Like
maybe
other metal festivals do.
Yeah.
We have Rock Hard Festival very near here. They also have the same fucking bands playing for the last 2 decades. Wacken has the same bands and the same headliners playing. Summer Breeze this year, same bands. And it's the same older bands. Yes, we're maybe different generations. All the power to them to keep listening to these bands. And then they have festivals that still cater to that generation, whatever. But I personally, I've had it. And I've had it with making it a controversy. I think Metal Sucks is one of the biggest media outlets in metal. And the fact that they keep saying this, and they have been saying this for years now, while at the same time, they still really call their guests. The audio quality of their interviews is terrible. And I get so angry about it because here we are making this podcast for 7 years now, always trying to have the best audio quality possible, which is also why I am a little bit relieved to go back to the point in my rant. Even though the recordings from the Tuska Forum by Bleeding Metal got lost in technology, the audio quality of those would not have been the best. And so maybe it's not so bad that they will remain as the best conversations in the memory of the people who are there, and that we will not be bringing you muddy audio with clacking earrings on the microphones. Thanks everyone for going to the Tuska Forum by Bleeding Metal. If you were there, thank you so much for all of the good feedback. Thank you so very much, everyone, for listening. And thank you, Marta and Susanna.
Yes, it's our pleasure. Bye.
Bye.
Don't forget to subscribe and follow, and we will see you next time.